Surprise! Alright, okay. So I know I'm supposed to be just doing, I don't have to just be doing my ongoing series. I can do more stuff. So, this goes back a few months now. At least back in September-ish, maybe before that. I did a Flashback Friday for the animated Transformers film from 1986. And in that video, I said I was going to start doing the live action ones. And it never happened. October came, I did the horror movie stuff, I did a bunch of random stuff. In November, started doing TV shows, doing other stuff. And then in December with the Christmas and the Disney. And so today I was bored and I said, I want to put in something stupid. So I put in the Transformers from 2007, starring Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Rachel Taylor, Anthony Anderson, Josh Duhamel, Tyrese Gibson, Jon Voight, and is directed by Megan Fox. I just realized what I just said. It's directed by Michael Bay. We all know I'm an idiot, right? Stupid Scotty. Directed by Michael Bay. I don't know why I said Megan Fox. Guess he's got Megan Fox on the brain. But anyway, so, yes. So I remember when this came out. So I've said this before. My knowledge of Transformers growing up, it was limited to Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and then the rebooted Transformers they had on Fox Kids. And then when it was transferred to Cartoon Network, Armada, Energon, Cybertron, those ones. And so that was my sort of thing with Transformers. So when this came out, I wasn't really sure what kind of Transformers movie it was going to be. It was going to be characters that I knew. Obviously, there was Optimus and Megatron and Starscream, which I knew. But all the other characters were different to me, at least. I have watched some of the original animated series since then. I think it's a good show. Yeah. But the big draw for me, growing up in the, 90s and early 2000s, was Shia LaBeouf. Because I grew up with Even Stevens. So that was my thing. So I saw he was going to be in Transformers. First of all, I was like, they put him in a Transformers movie. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's going to be campy, like the cartoon and stuff. But it's serious. This is a serious action film. There's some comedy in it, but it's not campy like I thought it was going to be. They play most of the stuff in this movie serious. And this is obviously post Bad Boys 2 Michael Bay. But it's not as bad as Bad Boys 2, and that's the weird thing. Because I always thought maybe Michael Bay went bad with Revenge of the Fallen and after. But then I watched Bad Boys 2, and it really did not sit with me very well at all. And I don't mind this one. For me, it's kind of an up and down thing with this franchise. Because you got the first one, which I think is a good film. A very good film. And you got the second one, which it more or less repeats a bunch of things, and its characters aren't written as well. But then you get Dark of the Moon, which I think is one of the better ones, And Age of Extinction's not that bad either. And then you get The Last Knight, which is crap. But then Bumblebee was pretty good. So it's, you know? But yeah, so what's the story? The story is that the Decepticons and the Autobots are looking for the Allspark. It's this cube that can create life. You know, like Transformer life. You know what I mean? Like Autobot, Decepticon life. Like that. And we find out throughout the film that Megatron landed with the Allspark centuries ago. So the government had the Allspark and Megatron the entire time. But then you have these two warring factions of robots fighting each other. What I like is that Peter Cullen, who voiced Optimus Prime in the original show, has come back to do the voice, which is cool. You have Hugo Weaving doing the voice of Megatron, which is a little weird. You could just... Frank Welker does eventually come back, but... I don't know. Having rewatched... when I first saw this, it didn't bug me. But having rewatched the cartoons, and then you watch this, there's a difference. You know what I mean? I do think one of the big problems with this is that they focus... A big problem with the series in general, they focus too much on the human side of things over the Transformer side of things. There are times where there will be a battle, and there's Transformers fighting each other, but we're focusing on little Sam Witwiggity running underneath everything and climbing up on something. We're focusing on him. We want to see the robots fighting. We don't want to see little Shia LaBeouf running around going, bah. No, we don't want to see that. We want to see the that's one of the big problems with the franchise. And then you get Bumblebee, which is done better in that regard. You still focus on some of the human characters, but it's not as much. It's not as prevalent as it is here, as it gets more and more throughout the franchise. Also, while Agent Simmons goes on to be one of my favorite characters in this franchise, he is not a very good character here. I know some of his stuff in the later entries can be cringe, but here, he plays stereotypical government guy. Like, there's a scene, and I thought about this when I watched it. There's a scene where Simmons shows up at the Witwicky house and just walks right in. He's like, I'm Agent Simmons with Sector 7, and he walks in, he's with the U.S. government, whatever, he just walks right in, and then Sam shows up, and then he like, hello, son, your name's Sam? It's just like, hello, I understand you work for the government, but, you still need a warrant to search a house, to enter a house, government or not. You need a warrant. Did they have papers? I don't think so. He just walked in. Also, this other guy who worked for Sector 7 that shows up to John Voight's office with the mustache, I swear they use him twice. I swear they use him there, and then I swear his face is used by one of the Decepticons earlier in the film. I swear. Also, there are some characters in this film that don't show up in the future films that I think they could have been used. And we'll elaborate with that when we get to Age of Extinction, because I have an idea that would have been better than just switching to new characters you never met before. But I digress. Characters like, you got Rachel Taylor, Anthony Anderson, and John Voight. We never see them again after this film. Never again. They're just gone. And while we're at it, let's talk about Michael Bay. Because Michael Bay is responsible for the sexualization of Megan Fox. And that's one of the reasons why she left after the second film. Also, she called him Hitler. But still, there's the scene where she looks under the hood of the car and then her butt's just out there. Not that I'm mine, not that I'm complaining, but I'm just saying, there's a reason why people didn't like Jennifer's body, and that's because Michael Bay sexualized Megan Fox so much that whoever cut the trailer used that idea and sexualized her in the trailer. So people thought they were getting a raunchy horror comedy type film with tits and ass, but that's not what it was. And Michael Bay is the one who is at fault for that. And that all started with this. Yes, she was in 2.5 Men, and also sort of she was a hot girl for Charlie Sheen, but this is where it really started. And it worked, because I had a thing for her back in the day, not so much now. We're about the same age, her and I, But I'm a fat ass, so I ain't gonna get a girl like that in a million years. But hey, if Shia LaBeouf can get a girl like that, why can't I, right? I don't really have much complaints about this film. I actually like this film. I mentioned the government stuff. John Voight's all pretty good in this. Also, we run into a continuity problem when we consider Bumblebee. I'll elaborate more with Bumblebee, but just the fact that there's continuity problems as you go more forward into this franchise, because you start here and it's like, oh, well, they just Grandpa Wickety found the Allspark and Megatron in the ice. But no, they're not the first ones here, because in the second one, there was the Fallen and the Primes. But no, there was stuff on the moon. But no, you see what I mean? Something happened back in the 80s. But no, you see what I mean? It just, once you move forward continuity, why can't franchises keep their damn continuity straight? Just saying. Shia LaBeouf is fine. I think he gets a little more wackier as the franchise moves along, and then he's just gone. But yeah, Megan Fox, she's okay. I think the best performance in this is Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. Hugo Weaving is a close second. I like Bumblebee. Yellow's not my color, but I like the yellow Camaro. Bernie Mac, God rest his soul. I think this was one of his last roles before he passed away. And he has the one line in this film I found myself quoting a lot. Driver don't pick the car. Car pick the driver. I love that line. The parents, they're better in the third one. I can tell you that much. They're just, were you masturbating? Judy. Just the whole, I laughed at it the first time I watched it, but now it's just like, what if there were children in the audience? What if you're an adult who grew up in the 80s watching this show? You grew up with this show, and you're like, I want to take my 9-year-old child, I say 9-year-old because that's how old my son is, my 9-year-old to see this Transformers movie. And then you're sitting there, and the mom says, were you masturbating? And you're just like, they said, what in a Transformers movie? You see what I mean? Like Michael Bay. There are certain jokes you can tell, but you gotta think about your audience. Yes, it's a PG-13 movie, but that's a little too much even for PG-13 standards. Alright? Ain't nobody want to hear about masturbation in the middle of a PG-13 film. Alright? That's like a unrated cut type thing. Or even rated R. But Michael Bay's going to throw that in there because he's Michael Bay and the Michael Bay out of the Michael Bay. You understand? It's just... So, I'm rambling incoherently, as you can tell. What do I give this? Josh Duhamel. I'll give it a Josh Duhamel. I'll give it a Josh Duhamel out of a Omar Epps. Why do I keep wanting to call him that? Epps is his character's name. It's Tyrese Gibson. It's Tyrese. Freaking, you know you're supposed to help you put that fire out. Freaking, are you serious right now? Yeah, Tyrese. But yet, I keep wanting to call him Omar Epps because his character's name's Epps. Also, Josh Duhamel's wife in this film is Mary Winchester from Supernatural, so that's kind of cool. You never see her again after this, but still kind of cool. So, I'm going to give Transformers an 8. I think it's decently made. I think it's pretty good. As far as the beginning of these franchises, I always like to copy. You know, I think I'll end it this way. Instead of my usual ending, I'll do it this. Is Optimus Prime. Calling all Autobots. Searching beyond the stars. I am Optimus Prime. We are here, and we are waiting. Thank you for watching.